Hello, and here we are, back at Perfectly Paranormal for episode 167. And as we know, my name is Anna Schmidt, and I'm here every week to share with you true paranormal encounters and information about devils, demons, and dark energy beings that no one else talks about. And today is no different. I have a question for you from Jemma, who wants to know why she has dark, frightening dreams when she's not even interested in the paranormal in any way. No books, no movies, no paranormal tours, no conversations with anyone. She's confused as to why she keeps having these demonic dreams, as she calls them. So in this episode, you're going to learn how to decode your demonic dreams and identify dark and demonic level influence in your dreams, what they're doing, why they do it, and what they get out of it. So what more can I say? Let's dive right into learning what these entities are up to and nip it in the bud before it becomes a problem and you start having sleep issues. Now the dream state. The dream state is as much of a spiritual war zone as when we're awake. It really is. I've witnessed it. I've experienced it. We need sleep. As humans, we must have sleep for our bodies to function. Demons don't sleep. They don't care. They have never slept, ever, for eons. And it kind of gives them the upper hand until we learn to recognize some of their tricks and their sneaky tactics. So I have a list for you of the top 5 demonic tips to look out for in your dreams. Number 1, when you take notice, they take notice. I'll say it again. When you take notice, they take notice. So use reverse psychology. They won't be expecting it. They will be expecting us to react with fear and panic and anxiety and create lots of drama around it all. Now this is whether you're in your dreams and you're a lucid dreamer and you can do that, or it's when you wake up and it's like 1:30 in the morning and you just can't get back to sleep because that demonic dream just keeps playing over and over and over in your head. When we take notice of what they're doing, they're like, this is the trigger, and they will keep using it. Human suffering used to be a trigger for me. It still is to a degree, but I've learned now to be more poker face about it. In my dreams, that is that when they show me things that they know, or they think they know, are going to trigger me, I just don't respond. And I'm not sure if I'm a lucid dreamer or not, but I usually tell them off in my dreams, and then I wake them up, and then I wake up, and then I sit up in bed and I tell them off in my bedroom, which is quite funny. I like to cover all possible bases. And they just don't use that anymore because it's a waste of their time. It's a waste of their energy to be doing things to people when they're not going to get the responses they want. They're very efficient with their time. I mean, they have eons to torture us. And they will just go from person to person to person until they find the one that gives them what they want. So what I do and what you can do is just use poker face. We all know what that means. It is a totally emotionless face. And you can also add a totally emotionless bodily reaction, mental reaction. You just don't respond. You're just like, really? Is that all you've got? I'm not interested. Please leave my bedroom. Please leave my dreams. I know you're here. You don't affect me. Please leave. Because that poker face response is going to throw them into a tizzy because they're not expecting it, because you are taking back your power, you are taking back your control. They don't like that. They think they're in control all the time. They've got big fat egos. Whereas if you'd like, sorry, don't get, you just don't affect me. Don't bother, go away, off you go, out of my house, out of my bedroom, be gone. They'll go. Like back in episode 119, I did a whole episode on this, and I called it Bedroom Boundaries. This is with spirits and demonic level entities. And it's well worth a listen because I give you lots of strategies, lots of tips you can use when you're in bed. It's about owning it, owning your space. It is your bedroom. Set the boundaries. So number 2, they replay the same dark theme that they know is going to get your attention. So you've got to learn to toughen up a bit. I had to with the human suffering thing. In movies or videos or whatever I'm watching, I can generally shut my eyes pretty quick and I don't see it. But in my dreams, you can't shut your eyes because your eyes are already shut. But I've learned to go, not real. It's not real. You can't affect me. It's not real. Just stop it. Don't bother. They will use whatever your trigger is. And believe me, they will weevil their way around watching you day and night to work out what your trigger is, to see whether you're worth just hanging around. I'm not saying that you're going to become a host for them because they're not internal. They're in the environment around you. And they will test you to see whether your trigger is a person, a situation, or an experience. It could be visual or auditory. I've experienced both. Whatever affects you is what they're going to use. And what they'll do is they'll repeat it. Like I said earlier, they will repeat it over and over again. They'll replay it. They'll replay it to see whether that's going to get the response they want. So just give them poker face. Don't give them any responses. And they're just like, ugh, I'm just going to go somewhere else. They don't waste their time or energy on food sources, which is what we are. We're a food source to these beings. That aren't going to give them what they want. So number 3 on our list, they will use shame and guilt. They're a couple of the big emotional responses that we create, or they're the big emotions that we hide within ourselves because we don't want to deal with it most of the time. They will use shame and guilt to trap us into creating continuous negative mental and emotional patterns that they can keep feeding on. Similar to number 2, but I'm being specific about these 2 because I find these are big ones that I find in people. And to combat this, so you're not feeding the entities, which no one really wants to do, talk about your shame or your guilt with someone that you trust. Get it out in the open. People say, get it off your chest. Seek counselling if you need to. This can be with doctors, mental health professionals. If you can't get to those, or it's too hard or it's too expensive, there are lots of online counselling phone numbers that you can ring. People who are trained to help you with mental and emotional issues. And for some people, going to confession, talking to a priest and getting it off your chest, getting it out in the open, it releases those negative vibrations from your body. And the entities that like those vibrations are going to move on. Believe me, I know. I've shared lots of reasons why in the past, so I'm not going to waste your time now. But I know from personal experience this works. I've been a guinea pig with this stuff for, 30 plus years. So I know what works and what doesn't work. I'm not an expert. I'm only giving you what I know from my personal experience. Now, this is something that I used to do. If I was feeling guilty about something I'd done in the past, I would just snuggle up in bed and I would talk to the archangels. So Archangel Michael is a being, an entity, a vibration, whatever you want to call it, a frequency that I work with. This being works through me to do work here on the earth reality. Same with Archangel Raphael. They work through some of us who do energy work to be able to benefit other living people in this environment, or spirits, helping them to transition. So if I've got an issue that I need to talk about, Archangel Michael is my trusted advisor. And I simply just get into bed and I'll say it out loud, but not loud, like I'm not yelling it, but the vibration of speaking creates a vibration, if that makes sense. You can think things in your head, and I suppose you are still creating a vibration, but when you say it out loud, you're adding to that vibration. You're giving it more power. So I will snuggle up in bed and I will just let it all out, because I sleep by myself, so there's no issues with anyone else hearing what I'm ashamed of or what I feel guilty about. And then I find that it releases it from my mind, my body. I go off to sleep. I just have peaceful dreams. I have a peaceful night's sleep. We can find a way to release it. Some people like to write things down and then burn them. That's another way to release your issues, to release your shame and your guilt about something. And then with lots of other things as well that are going on in your life that you're really struggling with. If you need to let go of something, write it down, then you can burn it. Because that turns it to ash. That changes the form of what you've written down. These are just ideas that you can use. You'll probably find now from listening to this episode or watching this on YouTube is that you'll get all these ideas come to you. Get online, look it up. There are lots of forums, lots of websites that talk about these things. When you're proactive, the entities will shift away from you. They want people who are vulnerable, people they can feed on. Now, number 4, for those people that are vulnerable and won't deal with their stuff, be aware that demons will try to influence you in your dreams to carry out actions in your waking life. It's a way of them getting into your subconscious when your consciousness is asleep, was how I explained it. And your subconsciousness is your dream state, your astral traveling or whatever you're off doing in your dreams. Sometimes vulnerable people can be influenced in their dreams. Generally, it's if you have something within you negatively, how can I put it? If you have a negative aspect of yourself that you're trying to hide, these entities they know everything about us. They're just totally annoying. They just watch us all the time. They know what we get up to. It almost takes control of you, but it doesn't, because your light shines over it. I know that sounds woo-woo, but we're just going to say it that way. Your light shines over it and this negativity doesn't come forth. Well, these entities can trigger people to behave in certain ways, but I always feel that there has to be a level of that negativity within the person that the beings enhance. So we see on TV and on social media and so forth, where we have these mass shootings going on, just as an example. Is that person being influenced by a demonic entity? Very possibly. But does that person already have some level of negativity within them that is prone to violence? And the entities will find these people and then they will enhance it within them. Something to think about. I mean, people do have free will and they do make choices. But if you're a negative person and you've got these entities attached to you, they are going to trigger you to be more negative, to then feed off what you do to yourself, but also what you do in public. It's their MO. We feed demonic entities. It's as simple as that. One sentence. When you're aware of it, you stop doing what you're doing, or you wake up and you go, oh, I need to get help for that. They will move on to someone else because you're not worth their time. So number 5, what demonic entities, now this one might shock some people, what demonic entities show you in your dreams can be useful sometimes. Now I know that's going to sound strange and you don't want to deal with it, but dream contents often show us what we need to address within ourselves in reality. And to get a good night's sleep and to live lives free of these entities and to be able to function at a full capacity during our waking life, we need to address what the issues are. So this goes back to talking to someone trusted, seeing your doctor, mental health professional, getting counselling and so forth. Get it out in the open. Once it's out in the open, the entities move on. I know I keep saying that, but that's just simply what they do. They don't waste their time on people that aren't worth their time. So I hope I've given you some ideas today about taking back your power, taking back your control, being aware how these beings behave. I find that they're pretty similar across the board in that they just feed on us. So if you don't feed them, they're going to go to someone else who does. So be proactive in this. Be smart, be aware. Remember, poker face is not going to give them any emotions or any drama. So next time you have a dark dream, analyse the contents, whether in your dream or when you wake up. But the other thing is, don't get all OCD over it. Otherwise, you might find that you're feeding the entities with your paranoia and your panic and all the emotions that go with the anxiety. Just observe and analyse it and go, wow, that happened to me when I was 15. Oh, I haven't dealt with that. I need to get rid of that right now. And be proactive about moving on from the negativity in your life. Now, if you're wondering about Poker Face and where that came from, I love the Addams Family movies. And Wednesday Addams, oh my gosh, She has the best poker face. Like, I can see it right now in my mind, I can see it. Like the old black and white version of the Addams Family, the original ones. Oh my goodness. Her poker face is what I see when I use my poker face. It's really quite funny. So you find what works for you. Poker face is just an example. You might take that and find something else that works like it. But what it's done is it's planted the seed about how to deal with these beings. Because really, they're just doing what they do. You know, it's part of what they do, why they're here. They're here to test the darkness within each one of us, whether we are going to follow the dark, follow the light, sit in the middle, be aware of what we do, deal with our stuff. I find I'm so much happier now. I've learnt about these beings my whole life, is that I deal with my baggage from the past. I mean, I'm 57. I don't think I've got much baggage left, not that I can remember, but I've dealt with it all. And these beings don't bother me at all. Never, ever now. So looking at next week, in episode 168, you're going to get an in-depth look at what drives demonic entities in this, our modern world. And this is interesting because how have they had to adapt to get what they need? Because they're very, very adaptive beings. They're in our environment as well as being in their environment. And they have to adapt to get what they need from us because the world is ever changing. It's getting faster and faster. People aren't frightened of what they used to be frightened of. We're all getting a little bit more desensitized towards the paranormal, towards darkness, towards violence and so forth. So how do they feed off us? So stay tuned next week. As you know, I'm going to give lots and lots of options and possibilities, and all from my own personal experiences. So stay tuned, and I look forward to spending some spooky time with you next week. Oh, and don't forget, if you like the content of this podcast and you don't want to miss any future episodes, please subscribe. And you can share with your friends so we can get the message out there. We can spread the message about these paranormal pranksters and what they get up to in our homes. I would really appreciate it. So thank you for joining me today. And don't forget, if you want to share a paranormal experience just with myself, or you would like me to share one of your experiences through my podcast, you can do a voice recording, or you can write out your experience and I will read it exactly as you have written. You can email me at spiritualbeing44@gmail.com. And for information on paranormal house clearing, you can visit my website, Spiritual Being. You will find the address in the description box. And I look forward to sharing this spooky space again with you next week. And remember, life is perfectly paranormal.